In the previous video, we have seen some of the basic object snap points, and in this video, we'll explore some of the advanced and typical object snap points. Now here we have this object snap active, and if it is not active, you can click on this status bar option to turn it on, and we have the list here. You can also turn it on by pressing the F3 key. So now in this list, we have seen up to the extension snap points. Now we have this insertion point, which is simply the base point of our blocks and the external references, and that we'll see later on in this course. We have the perpendicular object snap. Now for accessing rest of these options, I will not select this menu. Instead, I'll select it from the right contextual menu. So let's look at the perpendicular tangent options now. So I'll select the line tool for this, and now click anywhere in the drawing area to start this line. Now let's assume that I want to make this line exactly perpendicular on this line, but I don't know the point where it will be perpendicular. So in order to find that point, simply press and hold Shift key, then right click and select the perpendicular option. Now move your cursor on this line, and here we have it. So click here, press enter, and now this line is perpendicular to this line. So in this way you can use the perpendicular object snap. Obviously you can use this perpendicular object snap also from this menu if you want. Now we have the next one, tangent. So here in this case, let's say that we want to make a line which is tangent on this circle or on this arc and also on this circle. So we want to make a single line which is tangent on both of these geometries. For that, I'll select the line tool. Now I'll press and hold Shift key, then right click and select the tangent, and now click anywhere on this circle. So here we have this line. Now once again press and hold Shift key, then right click, select the tangent. Now click on this circle, and here we have it. So we have a single tangential line which is tangent on this and this geometry. Similarly, let's assume that we want to make a line which is parallel to any existing geometry. So in this case, I'll erase these two geometries and also this one. And now we want to make a line which is parallel to this one, starting somewhere from inside this polygon. For that, I'll select the line tool. Now click at the midpoint here, or let's say that we don't want to click at the midpoint, we'll click at some other point randomly somewhere here. Okay, now we don't know the exact direction of the parallel line. So we want to make this line exactly parallel to this one. And for that, I'll select the parallel object snap. So press and hold Shift key, right click, select the parallel. Now we want to make it parallel to this line. So go to this line, but don't click, and now move back your cursor. So when you move it back, you'll see this small plus sign, the green plus sign, that indicates that a reference has been taken from this line. Now move your cursor, and when the line becomes parallel, this green tracking vector will appear. Now you can click anywhere to make this parallel line, or you can also enter the distance. So let's say that we want to make it of length 50 units. So I'll type 50, press enter and enter again. And we have this line exactly parallel to this one. So we have some other options also. Let's see that also. So here we have this nearest option, which should be turned off in most of the cases. And the nearest option is helpful if you want to click at any point on the curve. For example, in this case, we have an arc, and on this arc, we have some well-known points like the quadrant and the center. But what if you want to click somewhere in between the quadrants? For that, you can select the nearest option. So obviously I'll select the line or any other tool here for now. Now shift and right click, select the nearest option, and now move your cursor, and you'll see this nearest marker. So that will follow your cursor, and on this curve, you can click anywhere and it will exactly snap to this geometry. Now click here, and the geometry has been made. And the end point of this line always lies on the circumference of this arc. So in this way, you can select object snap points to snap to any point in the geometry. And if you want to track your existing snap points, you need to ensure that this object snap tracking is on. So for now, we have this option off, and now I'll select this line tool, and now let's say that we want to make a line by taking the reference of any existing object snap points. For example, here we have this endpoint. Now we want to make a line which is somewhere over here, but which is along this line in the horizontal direction. But now when I try to take reference of this endpoint, I don't have any reference here. I'm not able to make any line exactly in this direction unless I make a line here. So if you want to take reference of this, simply click on this object snap tracking, move back to this point, and now move in this direction, and you'll have this tracking vector. So that will take reference of the existing object snap. So you need to ensure that object snap tracking is on if you want to take its reference. Now here also I'll press enter again. I'll go to this midpoint or the center, but I'll not click, and here we have the reference. You can click here, you can take the reference in vertical direction or in any other direction. So always make sure that this object snap tracking is on whenever you want to take reference of the object snaps, and you can turn it on by pressing the function 11 key on your keyboard as well. So let's move back to the drawing area and press escape key.